Hi, good evening. Welcome to this edition of Keeping It Real with Ramona. I'm so happy to have a very special guest with me on this episode today. Her name is Vasudha Arora, and I am just going to wait for some of you to join me here. I'm also going to take a moment to actually talk a little bit about Vasudha. She is someone who has led a very interesting life over the last few years. And I think she's online now. So I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to try to add her to my live so that we can have with us right away. Again,
Hi.
hi, how are you, Vasudha?
I'm good.
Good to have you here.
Very, very excited.
So I was just,
Can you see me
taking a
and hear
moment.
me all right?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think you're clear now. So wonderful. So, like I said, I'm very, very excited to have Vasudha here with me. She's someone who's been doing some very interesting things over the last several years. Um, so, I'll just take a moment and I'll just introduce her. And one of the very cool things she does is actually also she writes very beautiful poetry. So that's
Thank
maybe
you.
something I wanted to start with because I've admired her poems and her writing for a long time. And so that's definitely something that, I wanted everyone out there to know that she's an amazing writer. She is an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. She facilitates classes and she facilitates classes on different. Hello,
Am
Vasudha?
I still there? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Can you still?
hi. Yeah,
Okay. My
I can see you.
poem is on my phone. So now
Oh, no problem.
I thought I'll be doing Facebook Live from my Mac, so I don't have my poem.
No worries. No, I was just saying, I was just introducing you and your work, and I was saying that you're also a psychologist, right?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you take a few minutes and tell us, basically, let's talk about your work first, what it is that you started with and what it is you're doing now.
All my life, I think since I was 15, I think I've wanted to be a psychologist and an actress, both
Oh, wow.
simultaneously.
Okay.
Then the acting bit kind of went out of the window for quite a long time. And then so I said, okay, so I did my master's in psychology, then I did my master's in social work. Then I worked for quite some time in Delhi. I was born and brought up in Delhi, so I went back to Delhi after my social work, and I started working with NGOs on issues related to gender-based violence, child sexual abuse, gender discrimination, and all of that. And then I transitioned to, like, I took a 2-year break when I had my son. Then I
Okay.
moved to Bombay,
Uh-huh.
and then I moved to exploring alternative healing modalities because I thought that what we were taught in psychology and talk therapy,
Yeah.
I found it very inadequate. Like as a client, also I sought therapy, so I just thought that it was very limited and inadequate. Whatever experience I had, so I started updating my skills, and I was always looking for different techniques and different tools
Uh-huh.
which would help me personally in my own life, and then of course my clients. So it always has been like whatever I've tried on myself, and then I've tried with my clients.
Wonderful. I think that's awesome that you actually first use whatever tools you were getting or whatever new methods on yourself because that's kind of how whatever changes I've created in my life started like that. I started with trying to see does this work for me, and if it does,
Yeah.
I know it works for someone else. So I think that that's beautiful. So one of the
Also,
things I
then
wanted
there's a
to
sense of conviction in what I like. There's a sense of conviction, and you know that it's worked for you. So I mean, it would work for others. Yeah, sorry,
Sure, sure.
you were
No,
saying?
no, that's okay, perfectly fine. So, Vasudha, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I think is of interest to a lot of people, not only parents, but people who are looking at, trying something new, doing something differently. Because I know that you have a son who is almost a teenager now, and you had the courage to unschool him few years ago. So I wanted to, talk to you a little bit about that,
Yeah.
what made you look at unschooling first? Let's talk about that.
So there's no one reason as such why, but always like with since he was 2, I sent him to preschool and then different schools, and with each school I I was also simultaneously exploring all these healing modalities, and I was
Uh-huh.
also seeing clients, and in all the sessions, your childhood and how your schooling and what kind of messages you were given and what kind of expectations were thrown at you played such a big part of what shapes people's lives and their challenges and the
So,
problems that they were facing at the age of 30, 40 were emanating from what they believe they were told or trying to achieve from their, main thing I thought was parenting and educational system were two very major influential factors in shaping their career choices, their partner choices, whether they marry, not
sure.
marry, how they go about marriage.
Yeah.
So while doing that, and I also saw my son, so each time my son would have some issue, it like a minor issue, like teacher scolded me or spoke in a very aggressive tone, or I can't wear pink shoes in school, or uh, you know some form of bullying, or feeling like very controlled and like he doesn't have choice. So those kind of things, it was a big thing. And when I saw it firsthand, I also visited my own schooling years, and I realized that something is so amiss in the current, like not the current, but in general, the whole schooling system schools us to think in a particular way, and it kind of leaves us with very limited choices. And it kind of
Okay.
is not good, what is expected, what is not acceptable. I just started questioning that. And I remember in my MA social work, I'd read this book called Peacekeeping Society by Anne Illich. And it had left a mark. Real
Yeah, just give me a moment. I don't know why it seems to be going. It got frozen for a moment there. I think we're back on now. So continue.
okay, okay. So, where was I? Yeah. So I just, and each time my son would, like, I was very clear in my head that I'm not going to force him to do things um, beyond a point. Like, and I
Okay.
didn't want to impose my ideas and my value systems or my husband's value systems or generally my family value systems onto him. I wanted to
Sure.
generally give him space and let him be his own person, as we say. And in that
Yeah.
journey, there came a point when he was in his around his ninth birthday, where I felt like I think so he had so he used to have there's some background noise from your end or my end.
I can't hear anything. Can you hear something?
Okay,
I can't
yeah,
hear
a lot of
it.
noise. So I thought maybe if I need to change something. So
No.
yeah, so since he was 2, also he had like asthma, so almost every 3 weeks he was falling sick, and sometimes very violently sick. So,
Wow.
which is
Okay.
also one of the ways I had explored alternative healing modalities, and then I tried it on him, on myself, and mother-son connection. So I also worked a lot on myself, thinking maybe my unresolved issues from the past are he's absorbing, and So
Yeah.
in that whole thing, somewhere I knew that the mind, and there's something which it was his way. I mean, I'm making it very simplistic, but it just seemed like it was his way of telling me that he doesn't want to go to school and he needs to be home. And I had, interestingly, when he was 7, when he was around 6, I had actually taken him out of a mainstream school, kept him at
Okay.
home for 3 months. Then
Yeah.
in 3 months, he said, Mama, I want to go to a school, but a different school. So I explored Waldorf education for 4 years.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was one of the uh, easier, I would say, schooling experiences for him. But there also, there were so many challenges, and I just got to a point where I thought that instead of every day, addressing a challenge and solving it, why not just keep him at home and see what happens?
Okay.
So just from that exploratory question, like let's let him be at home and let's see what happens. I think we started an unschooling journey, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, it's very courageous of you to do that, because sometimes, you know, as a parent, I can say sometimes, there are experiences when your children may be having some issues at school, and, whether it's bullying, whether it's, something within the system that they find restrictive. But to take that bold step of actually, being brave enough to say that, okay, let me try and see if my child needs something different. I
Yeah.
think it's very, very brave of you. So I admire you for, taking that step, because, that's not something that a lot of people would have the courage to do, move away from what is the traditional or the norm, like they say. And how did your family react to the whole idea of you, unschooling him? And also tell us what is his normal day like? What does he do at home? So two questions together. But let's start with how it was in terms of family or maybe your close friends. How did they react to the
Initially,
whole thing?
initially, my family went into a shock, including my husband also, because it was, see, it's something which nobody has heard of and nobody knows a thing, and even I didn't have a clue. So when they asked me questions, I sounded very vague and very clueless.
Yeah.
Like, what will
Yeah.
happen to his future? What about schooling? What about 10th class certificate? What about job? How will he earn money?
So,
How will he learn socializing with people? Or how will he deal with the mean, wild world out there if you protect him in the, four corners of the house? Those questions were there, and I do come from both sides of my family. Like my husband's family, my family are like full of academicians who've made a mark in their lives based on education. So it's like a big
so,
thing that I was told that MA is like the basic thing in my house. Like, get your
okay,
masters,
wow.
then think of what you want to do, kind of a thing. And my
All
mother
right.
and her sisters even did PhD. So it's like, how can you not give him basic schooling? And
So,
even in social work, that right to education thing is there, and like every child has a right to education, which equals schooling. So I was, and then that started really making me question that, is it really like, yes, of course, every child has a right to education, but every child also has a choice to be himself or herself and make a choice for themselves. And, at the same time, parallel to this homeschooling, unschooling, and parenting journey, I also explored access consciousness, which talks all about so much about it's okay not to fit into the world. It's okay to
yeah.
be different. It's okay
Hmm.
to have, and that you radical thought that children are maybe small, but they are infinite beings and they know exactly what they want, and let them be. So, I just decided to wave, step aside and not come in the way of my child's journey. So I, from being a parent and how he turns out to be, how his life turns out to be, what he chooses, facilitator, where I'm just being there as an, like a enabler or a facilitator who's there. He
Yeah.
knows I have his back. I'm always there for him. And I will provide whatever he asks for, instead of me telling him that by this age you should know this. And these skills and information based message, otherwise you're a failure or you are lagging behind. So that I changed, and with that, I think life has been really, I would say, largely blissful in my parenting journey, where all our daily fights and push and pull and arguments and heated discussions and am I doing right? Is he doing right? And all of that went away, and now largely we have like a very happy and calm and peaceful space where he's in his own world, exploring stuff on his own, and at the same time, I'm engaged. Both me and my husband engage with him in a much deeper and I would say in extensive and intensive manner, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, wonderful. So tell me a little bit about what it is that he, does, like in terms of, what does it mean to be unschooled, and what are the type of things that he's exploring now?
So unschooling doesn't look like in a particular way. So what I tell you, so for people who are hearing this, I want to say that what I do is just our family's way of unschooling. There is no
Yeah,
one, it's not like one way of unschooling. Like there is
got it.
largely one way of schooling, but there is no
Yeah,
one way of unschooling in that sense.
got it.
But
Got it.
yeah, so he's a lot into like Lego is one thing he really loves for last 4 5 years, and also his interests keep changing. So and he explores a lot on YouTube, and he's taught himself things like stop motion and editing and Photoshop and all the very media and editing and mass media kind of space, which I am not totally. But he so he learns it, then he learns it, and then he'll show us the product. Like this is what went into it. So I'm like, wow, like so much. And my husband is kind of very familiar with it. So he keeps telling me that what he's learning and what he's doing is quite advanced. So I'm like, wow. So that all. And there was a phase where he was really into books and he loved like a bookworm. Last years,
Yeah.
he's moved away from books as much, and not 2 years, 1 year, and moved to gadget mode, so to speak. But then wrong with being with gadgets, so he would spend 8 10 hours on some form of gadget, and he's
Okay.
also like a multitasker in that sense. So even if he's watching some movie, he has headphones and he's hearing something, and he's also designing something. So he's doing like 3 things at the same time. So
Wow.
I have no issues with that. And he like he finds it easier to work. Yeah.
One.
So
That's interesting. So it's more kind of his choice in terms of what it is that he wants to explore, and then
yeah,
you and your husband kind of give him inputs as and when he desires, right? So there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
particular format or anything that's followed, right?
No, like there
Yeah,
was one phase of life where he said, "Mama, I love maths and I want to learn a little bit more maths." So I put him in
yeah.
1 or 2 classes, and then he didn't enjoy it. So we pulled him out. He
Okay.
explore. There are some Prithvi theater workshops happen annually. So he goes
Yeah.
every year, and 2 3
Ah,
workshops he'll sign up for. And then so that way he will get exposed to some kind of teamwork and people his age and learning new things and engage. There's something called cubotics he likes these days. So last 1.5 years he's doing that. So weekly he
okay.
goes for a class and learns that. Pottery is something he's explored off and on. So like that, I mean, yeah, different things that come up, and then he'll be like, okay, I want to explore it, and then he'll be like, now I don't want to explore it anymore. So
Yeah.
it's largely up to him. Yeah.
Understood. So, I know, once heard of certain parents, or, this sort of change in terms of education and schooling where people are homeschooling. But from what I've
Yeah.
understood from people who are homeschooling, that is a much more structured approach So those
Yeah.
of you who've just joined us, in the last few minutes, I'm uh, here with my friend and my special guest, Vasudha Arora, and we're talking about her son who decided to unschool. And Vasudha's actually got a background in psychology herself, and she's also a certified facilitator for access consciousness, and she teaches a lot of different classes, which we'll talk about in some time. But right now, we were just talking about her son, and what is the schedule that he follows, or what are the type of things he's learning. So I know, as unschooling goes, it's a very, very different ball game versus even homeschooling, because that's structured, and there are certain patterns that you follow, certain curriculum that you have, and all of that. So
Yeah.
do you have any support outside the home? I mean, is there any network of parents? If there are parents who are looking at unschooling their kids, is there something available in terms of a network of parents or something, any support?
Initially, when I was exploring unschooling, and I had a lot of self-doubt, and when I felt like I was up against the whole world, including my family and friends, where I had to have all the answers, how it will work out, how it will pan out. At that time, I did connect to a few FB groups and a few people, and I went for this unschooling conference that happens annually. But
Okay.
after that, I think last 2 years, I'm kind of just me, my husband, and my son, and largely we figure out what we want to do and how we want to go about it. I know 3 4 people, like my friends who happen to unschool or access only, who are also unschooling. I connect to them as friends, and then they're also once in a while call them and share them what my questions or challenges, or just aha moments and exciting things about field conversation.
Awesome.
We are doing something exciting, kind of a thing, but not
Yeah.
largely. I don't make a point to really, because my son, as of now, doesn't really enjoy socializing as such, like with people
Okay.
and so
All
on.
right.
So he's more like an indoor person, so I let him be.
Okay.
But I have so I know like there are options, and I engage with those options as and when required.
Okay. So, I was just going to say, if anyone's got any questions for Vasudha, to put them in the comments, and I can see that there are actually a couple of questions there already. So Arjun says, he's asked, would love to know more, know what is cubotics, and his second question is, how do you, and he handle the question, which school do you go to? So can you tell us a little bit
I
more about
just
what is cubotics?
Cubotics is because he's into Lego. So learn through Lego, they teach maths and engineering concepts.
Oh, okay.
Like there's a little bit of maths and engineering component to it. And with
Mhm.
Lego, they design like how would you make a lift or a car or of Lego with the help of um, uh, iPad, and there's some software programming that goes into it. I don't really know too much about it, but Arjun will
Okay.
call me and I can connect him to my son and he can tell you all about it.
Wonderful. So the second question is, when people ask you, I know you said that.
To earlier first 2 years, I was very defensive because I was out to prove that uh, I had to make a statement. Sometimes it actually, even now, it just depends on my mood. If I'm in a very chatty and rebellious mood, I will tell tell them all about unschooling and shock them, and I love making people uncomfortable and whatever. Sometimes I'm in a non-talkative mood, then I'm like, yeah, he goes to this school, this class, and then that's the end of the conversation. Sometimes I'm like, uns- why? So first question is shock when people say like, he doesn't go to school. How old is he? What about 10th class?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they're like, why don't you send him to school? And sometimes I'm like, but why do you send children to school? I don't know. So first no answer. So it just depends on how wicked or how humorous or how talkative I'm feeling. I give very
I
different
love that.
answers to different people.
I love that. What
No one
about,
answer.
I know you said that he's not very social, and in fact, Samara just asked a question around that. She says, how do you ensure learning of social skills and developing friendships?
So what are social skills? I feel he's very like he has all the skills you require. He's very, I feel like very sensible, mature, and adaptable, and like he'll like I have total faith that he'll figure his way out. So I don't know what social skills when people ask such things. Right now I'm curious to know what you like. He knows how to talk. He knows how to buy vegetables. He knows how to talk on intercom, and he knows how to go and attend classes, meet with human beings. He knows how to book an Ola. I don't know. So, what social skills are we really talking about? If you tell me, I like my son is capable of.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
think
I
so,
think it's
and he
different
has
for
his close
everyone.
friends.
Yeah. Sorry?
I mean, he has, his gang from school. He had like famous five of them, and then
Okay. His
uh,
friends from his
three of them
old
have
school.
moved out of city, and but he's kind of kept in touch with them because he's very close to them, and otherwise he connects to people when in different classes he goes to, he connects, but he's not very into like making friends as of now, like whatever friend he has, and I'm
Okay.
okay with that because I feel like, I mean, I don't know, this intrinsic faith that and I think unschooling philosophy and even in access consciousness, I feel like you know exactly what you're doing and you'll always find what you, if
So,
at some stage he desires to have 20 friends at the same time and enjoy social gatherings, he would find a way to do that. And right now he doesn't enjoy it, so he doesn't do it. So it's just, I feel, different phases of your life. Nothing to do with schooling, according to me.
sure, sure. I understand. So there's someone here, Manaswini Yogi, and she says, I'm
Yeah.
happy to see Vasudha-san growing and educating himself. He's a very intelligent child. So there's a big validation from someone in the family for you,
Miss
Vasudha.
Mansi, when I first told her this, she almost cried and she was like, मेरे बच्चे को अनपढ़ गवार बना दोगे, उसके नाना दादा का नाम कहाँ जाएगा? So I'm really happy that she's watching this and saying such
Yeah,
nice things. And I,
yeah. So
I, I have to say that my family is quite awesome in that way. Like they had this shock and all that, but they're very, very supportive in the, like, after a point they're like, okay, you're doing your own thing, we love you, and you can just do whatever you want and we'll not come in your way. Of course they have their own doubts and questions, which I appreciate, which are normal, because if anything you do which is little different and very kind of out there, which not many people have tried, you want to know what's going to come out of it. It's kind of basic curiosity and inquisitiveness, so
sure,
I'm okay with
sure. So,
that.
I'm just trying to see if there's any other questions. I think you did talk about, friendships. That was another question. So I think you talked about that. What I wanted to now talk to you about is, I know that you've mentioned that, there were a lot of different, for example,
Yeah.
EFT, something called imprinting. So what is the reason that you were exploring all of this? I mean, was it just related to your son, or was there something else that made you kind of look at all these
It was like
modalities or ways of being?
it was a combination of many things. One was my own anger and self-doubt and constant, like, I'm not good enough, and where am I going? What's the purpose of my life? What am I doing? I'm not doing enough. That kind of exploration, which I wanted to put to rest. And one
Yeah.
was that I had this anger issue. I think that I was really, I thought that if and I never wanted to become as a, like, with my son, I never wanted to lose and make him target of my bad temper
Vasudha,
or short
uh,
temper. Can you hear me now?
The screens become very blurry. I can hear you, but the screen is very blurry and your voice is kind of going in and out. Yeah. Sorry. So maybe you can just continue.
Is it better now?
I can hear you. I can't see you that well, but yeah, it's a little better now. Yeah. So you were
Okay.
saying about why you were exploring these other modalities.
So yeah, so one thing was my anger and then my own issues with my own self, and largely because I also wanted to keep updating um different tools, modalities, and techniques to, as a professional, to become a better, more equipped professional who can give faster change and um to people who are consulting me.
Okay. And then you've also shared with me that then you guys, looked at all of this and you were integrating some of the work, into changing things for you. And then you said that you found, access and you found some tools
Yeah.
there that, helped your parenting journey a lot. So would you like to tell us a little bit about that? How that's been for you in particular related to parenting and otherwise as well?
Yeah, so access, I'm just can't talk enough about. I'm like eternally grateful. I think it saved me and my son from my wrath, and my whole parenting journey. Not only has it become like manageable, okay, I think it's so joyful and so, like, one area I can say a lot of ease and total, total ease is because of access tools. So it two three things I can share about, which I had kind of mentioned, that this whole thing that your child is an infinite being in a small body, so don't have that, that whole sense of burden and responsibility that I think all parents are ingrained with, that whatever your child turns out to be is your doing, and you have to mold them, and you have to show them the light and the way and the path, and you are everything. So I think, making yourself so important, and then being ridden with guilt and pressure, and then in that, because of that, we start putting expectations and projecting stuff on our children, that
Sure.
how, like, it's a common thing that all children hear from their parents, that what will the society say, what will they say, how did I raise you, I didn't raise you well. So I got that out of my to-do list. I was like, I'm just there as a person who has implicit trust and faith in his brilliance, and
Yeah.
I am not, so I will not take credit, and I am not going to also carry the guilt if for whatever he turns out to be. It's his doing, his life, his path. I am always going to be there as an enabler and a facilitator, but not like, oh. So that's the biggest piece I've got, thanks to Access classes, tools, books, everything that they offer, because they have a very
Yeah.
radical and kind of a different perspective on things, how we are taught. Like, even in
Sure.
social work, forget psychology, even
Yeah.
in social work, I was, the family is a unit, and we are taught in a particular way that, and your duty as a parent is kind of very indirectly or directly outlined. And Access just said that there is no responsibility, you are not responsible for your child, and that in itself was quite a thing. Like, so I had
Yeah.
to unschool to, to this,
You have to
with
unschool
his body,
yourself.
like whole journey with his health, like, where,
Yeah.
I had to unschool myself. And then most pediatricians, I met like at least 14, 15 pediatricians in 6 years of his
Wow.
struggling with his asthma issues. And everyone told me that he has to carry an inhaler and be with a nebulizer all his life. And now he's asthmatic
Yeah.
only, bronchial asthma, like kind of. So Access said, like, everything that doctors and experts have diagnosed, it doesn't have to be like the reality that you choose and the that he chooses. So with questions and processes and techniques and him using them, I using them on him and on myself.
Yeah.
Completely, I would say 2.5 years. I don't think he's asthmatic. I mean, I think it would be very weird to call him asthmatic. Like, I think it's
Wow.
like some past life when I think of the kind of very painful challenges that were a part of our kind of daily life. You know, every day in kitchen we'll be discussing how many toffees you can have, how much chocolate, you can't have icing, you can't have milk, you can't have curd, you can't have that, you can't have this, and you
Yeah.
can't do this and you can't do that. And everything is like you can do whatever, you can eat whatever, you can sleep whenever, you can, everything is okay, and you know, and you trust yourself, you trust your body. So those concepts are very new to me, that you can just let your child trust his body, teach him to trust
Yeah.
his body, and over time, once he learns how to trust his body, he will know what is right, what is okay for him and what's not okay for him, and let
Hmm.
him figure it out for himself. And I feel like, yeah, he's such a healthy, happy, blooming, brilliant kid, and I feel like, and even, and I'm not saying they're not challenges. There are challenges in every phase, and I have my moments of doubt, but it
Yeah.
has nothing to do, I feel, with the unschooling tragedy. Like, it's just a part of growing up, and all parents, all children will go through it, and they'll figure out their own way.
Wow, that's incredible, Vasudha. So there are a couple of comments here. Kamaljeet says, awesome and very brave. And Ritu Garkal says, Vasudha. So you're getting quite a few claps also from people who are watching this. So
Thank you.
I'm hoping, whoever's watching this live right now, if there's any questions you have for Vasudha or for me, please do put them in the comments and we'll try to get
Yeah.
to your questions if possible. And anyone who's just joined us, I'm in conversation with Vasudha and we are talking about a lot of different things. We're talking about, um, parenting. We're talking about her son, who she decided to unschool, how that experience has been. We're talking about health. We're talking about, different forms of therapy or different sort of modalities that have helped her along the way. I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about, since the word therapy has come up a couple of times,
Yeah.
and nowadays it seems to be talking about it. So what is,
Yeah.
is that something you want to discuss with me a little bit more about, being in therapy or making that choice to, change something if, something's not working for you?
So the good thing is that a lot more people are talking and writing about it, but unfortunately, it still carries some kind of stigma. So it's still a very taboo topic which you talk about in a very secret way. Like, for example, if you have a eye pain or a head pain or some even heart issues, you will
Yeah,
just
like a
say, I'm,
physical problem. Yeah. You're
so
saying,
you'll say, okay,
yeah,
it's like, people will ask, best cardiologist, can you tell me? On
yeah.
Facebook, they'll write. But if you're
Hmm.
going through a emotional challenge, or you're feeling not good enough, or suicidal, or you're facing bullying, or you're just having an anger issue or whatever, then, or even you're feeling very poor in life and you feel your financial reality is not changing, you will not type on Facebook that you tell me a therapist or a facilitator because of some kind, so that kind of acceptability and thing is not there.
Yeah.
Just like how if you have a sexual problem, we will not say, can somebody tell me a gynecologist because I have a sexual problem. So
Yeah.
sex and emotional
Yeah.
issues and emotional challenges are something which, and also sadly, even when people do ask me about, or they ask me, a lot of them who don't relate to access, and they want
Yeah.
only a talk therapist, a very traditional talk therapist, they
Yeah.
will say, don't tell it to anyone, keep it with you. It's
Yeah.
confidential, it's between, as if it's something wrong. So my only like I have this uh, for a world where we can just say, yeah, I do deal with my anger, and I'm just who would hear me out, share some tools and techniques where I can get over my anger
Absolutely.
or explore why, or I don't know, I am not enjoying sex anymore, and I think there's something amiss. Talk to someone about it, or I don't know how to face politics in the office. Absolute loser. Can someone tell me what to do? So it, people say, like a lot of people who say they therapy to each other. They're like, I'm not mad, I'm not crazy, and things have not gone so bad that I have to consult a therapist. So, somewhere waiting for that, जैसे हिंदी में अगर कहें तो like सर से ऊपर गुजर जाए, like that last straw at the camel's back we are waiting for, when we feel like either our marriage is breaking or somebody is going to, or some very important relationship we are losing, or our whole daily well-being is at stake, or
Yeah.
our anger is reaching that limit where we are going to harm someone.
Yeah.
Until then, people talk or seek, and I feel like, what if it's a cool thing that just like all of us have family doctors and tutors and teachers and coaches of some kind? What if
Sure.
all of us had as a mandatory thing? We just had somebody we can talk to who can share some tools and techniques and exercises, and just the whole exercise of talking, that one space where you can be vulnerable without that fear of being judged, and you can talk
Yeah.
about anything you think is not working out. It can be even like, I'm a millionaire, but I want to be a multi-millionaire,
Yeah.
like, can I change my reality? Or
Yeah.
I'm 60 kgs and I want to be 50 kgs. So are there some emotional issues from the past, or some unrealistic expectations or judgments that are sticking to me, which
Yeah.
if I give up, I can be 40 kg?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be something like you're going crazy that you have to go to a
Yeah.
facilitator or a coach or a therapist. And
Yeah.
so that's I would
Yeah.
want to contribute to that. Even
Yeah.
things like magic and miracles, things which are not either for children or for fantasy land, but they're things which you see in action and you can all create it and you can all be a part of all the time in your daily
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. How beautiful. Yeah. I mean, what would it take for us to create, that kind of a world where none of us would be
Yeah.
ashamed of whatever it is that, isn't working for us, then we are willing to ask for that help to change it.
Yeah.
So I think that
Yeah.
that that that,
Yeah.
that is amazing. So Arjun has another question for you. How will he go to college if he wants to? I'm keen to understand this more. Are there options for someone to study further if someone is unschooled?
Yeah, so there are also many more because unschooling is quite a established and a big thing outside India. So there
Sure.
are many universities and colleges already, and even in India now, slowly with the unschooling movement gaining momentum and credibility slowly, there are options where you can, without any certificate, still study anything that you want to study without having to show a 10th class certificate. And then there are some very mainstream options like architecture or medical, or some you know where you need a 10th class certificate in India, but even that is changing. So I feel like everything is so fluid and changing
Yeah.
and evolving. I feel like by the time Nikhil is old enough to make those kind of decisions, they're really, I mean, I truly believe that there are than just 10 or 12 options. There are actually infinite possibilities, and we all will find a way of how to learn and do what we want to do. Like, for example, recently he joined how to design, how to make and design. He's learning a
Okay.
course.
All right.
And then while he was doing it, he got very excited. So he went on to Udemy, Skillshare, and other platforms online. he learned so many more things. So he
Wow.
realized that there's so many free or paid courses in India, outside India. So it's really, I feel like sky's the limit, and you can learn anything at any age and stage of life, irrespective of where you come. Just like, haven't you heard of, actors or directors who were actually
I've lost you there. I am gonna just try to add Vasudha back to this live. She was just in the middle of sharing something, and somehow the connectivity seems to have gone. So I'm just waiting for Vasudha to join me again. I can see that she's still online, but I'm hoping she can join me back, because for some reason it seems to have got disconnected from her end. While we yes, Vasudha, I've sent it to you. I've sent the request to you, so yeah, just try to accept it. I've already invited you. Just look out for the invite and try to rejoin. So we were in conversation with Vasudha. I'm just waiting for her to join me back on the live. If she's not able to, I may have to either restart the session again and create a new Facebook live in a moment. I am hoping that she'll be able to join back right away. And we were in conversation with Vasudha on keeping it real with Ramona. We were talking about her brave decision of unschooling her son, who's now 13, and I think she did this almost 4 or 5 years ago. And we were talking about a lot of different things, including the different types of therapies, or different types of modalities that have helped her along the way. We were just in the process of talking about how we would like to create a world where nobody was embarrassed to ask for assistance with whatever it is that is going on in their life. So that sort of taboo, or that sense of can't ask for help with this, is something that should definitely change. Be coming back on now. It's been an interesting conversation. Hi Vasudha, there you are. No problem. Sometimes internet connectivity and working with technology
yeah,
creates
and then I
these
don't
issues.
know where to look for the thing. Okay.
Okay. So all right. So I think you were saying something when you got disconnected.
I've forgotten now.
Okay, doesn't matter.
You can ask me another question.
Sure. Let me just see if there's any other questions here. Okay, nobody else has put a question in here. But, I know you mentioned something about anger right at the beginning of the session, and I think that's something a lot of us deal with. And a lot of times, a lot of people repress the anger, and somehow it comes out in different ways, you know. So it's not
Yeah.
always that everyone will blow up or, have that explosion when they're feeling that anger. Sometimes that happens, but sometimes when you repress the anger, I know that it comes out in different ways. Sometimes your health gets impacted, sometimes your relationships get impacted. Sometimes
Yeah.
you as an
Yeah.
individual are not able to function because you're
Yeah.
repressing the anger and you're kind of keeping it bottled inside. So maybe you can talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that and how you change that for yourself.
I would say maximum, I mean, access tools is what got me to even recognize that whatever I thought about anger was quite a lie, and you don't require anger management. You just need to, that whole space where you are being yourself and you're giving yourself the permission to not fit in and not uh, fulfill some expectations, or like we say, how what all that you are, when you
Yeah.
don't, for many reasons, you don't allow it to come out, it takes
Hmm.
a form of that frustration, which then comes in form of anger. And a
Hmm.
lot of, we have expectations of ourselves, we have expectations of others, and others have expectations of us. And when we are not able to fulfill any of them, that I don't know how to explain it, but all I can say is that anger is really not the issue. If you are kind to yourself and you just explore some of these tools, and what I love about all these modalities, including Access, is that even if you don't go to a theater to begin with, there are so many free resources. All you need to do is just type out and Google, and there are so many free resources available there. Just explore them and give yourself a chance. Like, don't give up on yourself or anything to say that, okay, I'm like this, I have to live with this, or go to medication and suppress it with, or maybe after a point, then it takes a form of how, if you go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, disorder, label. I feel like labels are very disabling, so I would like to keep myself away and people away from labels of all kinds.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think it's most freeing when we don't have labels. So just acknowledge what you are going through and talk to someone. And and one thing I want to say, that in my own journey, like, I think first time I sought therapy was when I was 30,
30,
1 year into marriage, 30
30,
years old.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was going through some challenges in my marriage, and I thought, my marriage is only going to get over in 1 year. So I
Wow.
said, okay, now it's really, like, for me, that was the tipping point, because I had a love marriage and against everybody's wishes or whatever, like major drama. And then I'm like, okay, now marriage is one thing I don't want to let go of. And then I sought therapy, and then it didn't work out. So and I was very depressed, or what I would say, like, if I went to a psychiatrist, they would say that, okay, you are depressed or you have these labels. But I didn't give, I was like, okay, this person is not getting me. It's okay, or this modality didn't work for me. Then I kept exploring different therapists and different modalities.
Okay.
And each person and each modality contributed in some big way.
Yeah.
And even in Access, it's not like so there are different facilitators and there are different talks and classes and books. So if one thing or one person or one session does not work out, don't conclude that this is not for me.
Yeah.
Just for your own sake, and if happiness matters to you, then just keep exploring and don't give up. That's all I would like to say. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't write off something just because it didn't work with one person or one modality.
Yeah. So I think what we had talked about is, I had requested that you join us for this session today, is, that the whole sort of discussion was going to be about around embracing are. So I think you brought
Yeah.
that out so beautifully, Vasudha, because, you recognized, for yourself that, sometimes things don't work a particular way. I need to explore something else. And you recognize that for your son as well, that, whether it was because of his health reasons or whatever else was going on when he was going to an actual school, you had the courage to, actually recognize that, it's important that he embraces, or you as a parent embrace the difference he is, and help
Yeah.
him, with that, and change whatever's required to change to help him navigate that difference that he is. So I wanted to just thank you so much, for having done that, and for having the courage and sharing all of this with us today. Tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing now, like what is interesting and what excites you about your work. Please share that with us.
Like you said, I'm an access consciousness facilitator, and it gives
Yeah,
me tools and techniques and way of facilitating, which is very different, a different way of looking at things and addressing the issues that people come with. And
yeah,
I feel like nothing is unchangeable. And
yeah,
so I work with individuals, I work in groups, I work with children, I work with adults. I work
yeah,
on any issue, and especially issues like, abuse or child sexual abuse or suicide or mental illness or ADHD and or relationship challenges or health challenges. I just feel like, and all the taboo things that we think we can't talk about easily.
Okay.
I just want to, like, through my work, I just want to invite people, literally, like in Access, a lot of times we say that there are no problems, they're just possibilities, and you just have to choose. So there's such amazing, simple tools through which you can actually go beyond, staying in a box in a
Yeah.
limited way, where you
Yeah.
kind of conclude that this is how much life is supposed to be. Like, how many times in our daily lives also we think that this is how marriage looks like, this is like how schools look like, this is how the education system is, this is how sexuality is, this is how uh, work space is, this is how, and this is enough and I'm content and enough. But how many of us actually have this whole thing of, what if something more, something greater, something else was possible? And
Yeah.
also this whole thing that a lot of us question, maybe at the age of 50 or 60, or start questioning in 40s, that okay, all this is fine, and I have a family, I'm settled, I have money or whatever. Then now what am I contributing? What am I doing? How am I changing the world? Can I change the world?
Yeah.
Just sitting at
Yeah.
home, can I change the world? So even those things I feel are just, with simple classes and talks and Zoom calls, I like to invite people to different, like, wherever you are, you don't have to join Access Consciousness, you don't have to see a
Yeah.
therapist, you don't have to leave what you're doing. With whatever you are doing, you can just add another way of looking at things, and that in itself will add so much more ease, joy, and sense of possibilities in your life. So that's what
Yes.
I really feel excited about.
Wonderful.
So yeah.
How beautiful. How beautiful. I had wanted you to share some of your work. I know you're doing this live now on your phone, and you said it's going to be difficult for you to share one of your poems. Vasudha also has a page called Your Voice Matters, and a lot of her work is available there. So if you don't mind, I'm going to read one of them. Should I go ahead, Vasudha?
Sure, cool, cool.
So this is something
Okay.
Vasudha shared on her Facebook page. It's called Your Voice Matters, and like I said right at the beginning, she's a brilliant writer. So she says here, how many times have you put on a brave face even when you weren't feeling brave? How much have you hidden your face because you judged it? How many adverse situations have you faced in the past? How many people have been in your face and you allowed them to intimidate or overwhelm you? How many times did you think you had to save your face? How many times have you mustered courage from within to not so pleasant? How much have you believed that you flat on your face if you flew too high? So you cut down your joy or your too muchness in any way. How many masks did you wear at different times to protect your face from others' judgments you anticipate? Literally, though. How many times did you hide you since you decided you cannot face certain people, situations, or phases of life? And then there are times when your face glowed with pride, or joy, or love, or some exciting news. The story our face tells is often based on the stories we tell ourselves and the stories we choose to hold on to. If we let go of all the stories, we could have a completely different interface with life. So
Thank you. Thank you.
I think that's so beautiful, and I think it really sums up a lot of what we talked about today. And Ritu here has said sometimes one has to follow their gut instinct.
Yeah.
That one leap of faith can bring so much change, not just for oneself,
Totally.
but also for the people around you. Well done, Vasudha.
Yeah. Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you for
And I
being.
really want to, before we end, are we going to end now?
Yeah, I think in the next couple of minutes we will. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have any questions, otherwise, I just wanted to
But you
thank you.
wanted to say something. You want to thank me?
Yeah, I really want to thank you, because thanks to your invite, I got to, you said like it's so brave and all. I was like, what's so brave about it? And then I really went down the memory lane, like last 4 years, and even before that, my whole parenting journey, my whole, you know, different times where I felt like totally giving up on myself, on life. And I have thought that, okay, I have so many resources and I have done so many modalities, and still, if I'm feeling like giving up on my life or giving up on a particular situation, or so, I don't know. So and now and I just feel like it's not that I have no strategies now, but I just feel like, yeah, I mean, that's quite a journey. And I'm just so thankful to you for even like this whole series that you've started. It takes a person like you to even recognize and acknowledge and see what people are not willing to see, because they are just handling it or going through it or doing what seems okay, like, seems like their next step. But to
Yeah.
see it as something, to see it as something that's different, and it is contributing and inspiring, and then giving them a voice and give this platform, I think it's just so beautiful that you can see that courage and beauty in people. And it's such a gift, and I really wanted to thank you, Ramona. I mean, it's just so awesome. Yeah, really, really, I really wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you, Vasudha. I just feel that there's so many people who think they're just doing what is regular and normal. And because we are so caught up in our own life and our situations, we don't recognize the difference we are, and how, the difference you are being is changing the world in its own way, and how you can be an inspiration to someone who might not have the courage. And it's not necessarily about the unschooling bit or about the, getting help when you need bit. It's just about
Yeah,
having the courage to do something different.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
that is what, the idea behind this entire keeping it real with Ramona is, because, I'm looking out for people who are real, and I'm having these conversations with them, so that, there's more sort of, ways people get inspired, and, there's more positivity spread. So thank you for being here today, and thank you
Thank
for
you
everything
so
you
much.
are. All right. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you
Bye.
very much.